All right, so this is our new comic book podcast show where we are going to be going through each of the true comic book origins of the MCU characters. This is sort of a prototype. We're interested in comments down below as to this whole learning process that we're in. Mary will be learning kinetically.
I will be learning kinetically, punching things, pushing buttons.
Because this is a new show, I guess we should probably introduce ourselves. I am Zach. I am the sort of comic book expert here. I will be sort of guiding the other two through this experience. And basically what I want to do with this show is just kind of show off actual comic books, not just like superheroes in general I think are very popular, but I don't think comic books are very popular. So I want to show off actual comic books, why I like them, and maybe educate a younger demographic.
I think we'll be seeing why they're not very popular, to be honest.
Exactly. And we'll be having some fun along the way.
I am Mary. I have a limited history with comic books. I am more of a kinetic learner and wine connoisseur.
And but you have watched the MCU movies.
I have. I think I've watched more MCU movies than you have.
You definitely have.
I have watched a lot of them, not all of them. I think David is the
I'm the normie of this group.
Yeah, you're the one who's watched most of the MCU movies. And the comic books are nothing like the movies. That's what I know.
Well, we'll find out.
You might be surprised. I'm David. I have a strong accent. You'll have to put up with that. I've seen almost every MCU movie and some of the series. I haven't bothered watching most of the series, though, because they're just not very good.
Do you have any history with Well, I know you've at least read Golgo 13 manga.
Yeah, I guess I have a history of manga, but not Western comics. I have friends who are mad into the comics, and it's always very funny to hear them complain about such and such thing they didn't carry over from the comics. And
so you're talking about Zach, right? You were talking specifically about
well, not
Zach.
even just Zach. You know, actually, I have some Irish friends who are mad into the comics as well, and it's always funny to me because like people who like the comics talk about the movies not following the comics as if it's inherently a bad thing. But as a fan of the movies, I don't really see the problem with that. But maybe when I see the comics, I'll see the comics are actually way better for such and such
I would
reasons.
say,
I'm looking forward to that.
I think definitely there is a difference between like a comic book movie and like a movie that uses comic book characters. Like, say, Tim Burton's Batman I think is a better comic book movie, but I think Batman Begins is a better movie overall using the character of Batman.
As the person in the middle, because that's kind of how I view myself, because I've read some comics, watched some movies, and I can see why they didn't use certain things in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just doesn't play well
we're
on
looking
the
at
screen.
one. We're looking at one right now.
Yeah, this lovely Iron Man suit. This is... I don't know what this is.
Basically, I have been reading a lot of comics since COVID started. I started with Marvel Comics #1 at the beginning of COVID, and I'm in somewhere in the 1939. Right now, I'm somewhere in the 1980s. So I was surprised as hell when, after decades and decades of comics, I got to November 1980, Moon Knight #1, and I saw this.
This previously published content includes negative depictions of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Social change is a journey, and we must acknowledge where we've come from to build a more inclusive future.
This is the first time I ever saw this. I was blown away. I'm like, what is in this comic? Because, like, there's the comic we're going to read here. There is just decades of Yellow Peril comics.
Well, I've watched many of Justice League
there
where,
are
like,
comics...
the Indian guy, like, gets really big.
Shang-Chi is called Racial Slurs. This is the first time in Moon Knight #1 that I saw this. I have no idea what's in Moon Knight that's that offensive. Wow. The only other time I ever saw this was an X-Men comic where Kitty Pryde yelled the N-word at a black woman.
Oh.
Jesus.
I'm not going to read that. If you make me Kitty Pryde, I'm going to say N-word.
Yeah, so I understand why this would maybe be in front of that comic.
Yeah.
There's nothing in Moon Knight 1 on that level. And I guess you can decide for yourself how we feel about the comic we're about to read here today.
People are like, oh, by the 80s, we should have known better. Like,
I
if
guess
it's in
they have a higher
1939,
standard
it's like,
for the
oh, of
80s.
course they're racist.
This
of
comic
course.
is from March 1st, 1963.
Stan Lee, writer.
So I guess we're just supposed to presume
So this
that
is a...
it's going to be kind of racist.
These are Stan Lee, Steve Ditko. Now...
We'll see which stories he's on, because
So,
there are...
I was going to say, you don't particularly like Steve Ditko, if I remember.
I love Steve Ditko.
He's the guy you love. Okay.
Yeah,
there
think
was
he's
one you
of the
didn't like.
best. Jack, well, we'll get into it. Jack
Okay.
Kirby is an artist
Jack
I don't
Kirby.
particularly
Okay.
care
Now,
for.
you
All right,
doing this?
we're starting.
We're
I'm
starting.
gonna have to edit that down.
Okay.
Oh yeah, have fun.
I'm interested
Alright.
to see what that sounds like at the end. Tales of Suspense. Who or what is the newest, most breathtaking, most sensational superhero of all? Iron Man. He lives. He walks. He conquers. Who? 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 From the talented bullpen where the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Thor, and your other favorite superheroes were born.
Wow, that's a lot of top level heroes actually from the MCU, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so is this comic, this is written after, like, Spider-Man and those guys have been introduced?
Yes, it actually is. That's something that I always think is interesting, is that every adaptation always seems to want to make Tony Stark this, like, mentor figure for,
Yeah.
like, young Peter
Because
Parker.
he's the guy that gets the Avengers together. He's the guy that does all the, like, he's, like,
Yeah.
the first on the scene.
No, he's actually one of the later ones.
All right, now I do notice the comic book code up there in the corner. So this
This
adheres
is approved.
to
This
the comic
adheres
book
to
code.
the comic book code. Everything you see, not only does Disney not think of this as worthy of any kind of warning at the beginning, the Comic Books Code Authority also approves of everything
Okay.
here.
Were there any
Because-
Marvel comics that didn't meet the code?
Yes, yes, eventually. We may actually read
nice.
them. Iron Man is born. Watch his awesome approach. Listen to his ponderous footsteps as he lumbers closer. Closer. For today, you are destined to encounter the invincible Iron Man.
He sounds like a monster with
Yeah,
this.
now I'm gonna say
Yeah.
he really kind of sounds like a bad guy.
This is terrible.
Like, he sounds
writing
like a
for
villain.
like a superhero. He sounds so
What is he
cool,
ripping
right?
here?
Because he's conquering,
Yeah.
right? We just saw on the last pages he's
Hey
conquering.
kids, gather around. Listen to his ponderous footsteps
Yeah.
as he lumbers
I know, it's like,
closer.
it's all Jawsy. He's coming after you. He's conquering.
At the very
this is not a
least-
hero.
Yeah, at the very least, he's just like a slow loser. The art is by Don Heck. And
What is
is
this he's
by-
meant to be ripping apart here?
I have no idea. The Earth?
The pages of the book?
Yeah, maybe.
Possibly the pages of the book. Why does he have an antenna on his shoulder? Like, what is that?
Probably for like radio, I would imagine.
So in this he doesn't have Jarvis, right? There's no Jarvis that he's talking to. He's not a computer, really. This is
No,
This is
no.
63.
This is
not-
1963.
okay. So he's on analog. He's okay.
In a secluded area somewhere in the U.S. defense perimeter, there stands a closely guarded building, the laboratory of Anthony Stark.
His name is Anthony? Holy shit, I had no idea.
Well, that's shortened to Tony. I mean, that
I
makes
guess,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot lamer though.
Boy, that guy Stark must really rate to get a 24-hour guard.
He rates all right. The commies would give their eye teeth to know what he's working on now.
Is this fucking 60s American slang? I don't know.
So what do you not understand?
What does rate mean?
It means
Oh wow, we didn't even get farther. I was
Yeah.
working on eye teeth.
Yeah, oh no, I'm coming to IT. Hold on.
so you rate highly. That's
Yeah.
what they're saying.
Mad. And IT.
All right.
Those are your canines. So they're gonna pull out your canines. They're gonna pull out their canines to know what Tony Stark is working on. So
Oh, I
yes, this
see.
is very much quintessential 60s slang.
Man, I feel more at home reading a fucking manga in Japanese than this.
Yeah, this comic is read left to right. Maybe that's what was.
Oh, fuck, I might actually fuck that up at some stage.
And inside,
General, you will see my tiny transistor increase the power of this small magnet so tremendously that it will open that locked vault.
Oh, come now, Stark. That just isn't possible.
Sassy General. Think so? There! I've switched on the transistor. It's energizing the magnet. Click.
I don't like that.
I was prepared to do a magnificent click, but I'm keeping that in.
No, that was,
Yeah.
that was a
Stays.
painful click. The door. It's beginning to bulge.
Naturally. My tiny transistors are so powerful that they can increase force of any device.
I can't do it again.
1,000-fold.
Crack. All right, so let me see if I can recap for these past few panels.
For this page.
Yeah. So Tony Stark, mad genius, has tiny transistors that can crack open 1-foot steel doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck does a transistor have to do with?
Well,
How on earth does he do that with the
you know,
transistor?
I was
What
gonna
the hell
save
is a
this. I was
transistor?
save this for later, but I actually have some educational content prepared
Okay.
No way.
along with this.
Because I don't.
So, a transistor is a semiconductor device used to amplify or switch electrical signals and power.
Okay.
The transistor is one of the basic building blocks of modern electronics. It is composed of semiconductor material, usually with at least 3 terminals, for connection to an electronic circuit. A voltage or current applied to one pair of the transistor's terminals controls the current through another pair of terminals. Because the controlled output of power can be higher than the controlling input of power, a transistor can amplify a signal. Some transistors are packaged individually, but many more, in miniature form, are found embedded in integrated circuits.
So he's just put a bunch of little miniatures on this door, sent an electrical current through them, and that somehow.
And that
cracked open
somehow brought
Okay.
down a wall, yeah.
All right. Okay.
So-
I just want to know that I'm
In
following.
modern comics, they really just kind of hand wave away
It's magic.
what Stark tech. It's magic. It's arc technology. It's
Okay.
super powerful. Whatever.
Okay.
They didn't do that in the '60s. They just thought transistors were magic.
Okay. That's because I'm like, I kind of know what a transistor is, and I don't think it busts open doors.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a
I'm
thing.
in the same camp. I kind of know what it is. It's very important in like all electronics. It's
Yeah.
like the Fallout universe diverges from like our real universe in that they never developed transistors, which is why everything is still running on vacuum tubes.
So I guess transistors were a recent invention when this came out.
Yes.
Yeah, and nobody knew what they did.
So
we could
they-
say that we
Clearly
could-
not.
So the most
Okay.
widely used type of transistor was invented by Mohammed Atala and Dawang Kang at Bell. Do not hold me to those names. At Bell Labs
Pronunciation
in
is not-
1959. So this
not
is
Tony Stark.
This is 1963.
Okay.
And obviously, a comic book writer doesn't care about what Bell Labs is doing.
No. They're
No.
like, hey, transistor, a lot of electricity, that's going to blow something up.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so
no, we are
busted open
jumping.
this door.
We are jumping on a historical electrical bandwagon here with the power of transistors.
I mean, the safe wheel door, the door wheel is just flying off. This is a
Yeah,
powerful
transistors,
thing.
Mary.
Yeah,
the transistor is really the opposite of comic book tech in a lot of ways, in that it's actually made our lives better on a fundamental way. Just over time, whereas superhero tech is always very custom suited to a single purpose, like pulling down doors like this.
I guess.
But what we want are mass consumer products.
Sure.
Now, do you believe that the transistors I've invented are capable of solving your problem in Vietnam?
Stark, after what I've just seen, I'm ready to believe anything.
Yes, it was an amazing demonstration. But now, let us learn more about the man whose genius made it possible. Let us learn more about Anthony Stark, the one who is fated to become Iron Man. So this was going to be the first of the educational segments, but
No, I pointed it out earlier.
we're going to be going much faster through the latter half of this comic, guys. Do not worry.
Okay.
The Vietnam War. So, after the French military withdrawal from Indochina in 1954, Following their defeat in the First Indochina War, the Viet Minh took control of North Vietnam, and the United States assumed financial and military support for the southern Vietnamese state. The Viet Cong, a southern Vietnamese common front under the direction of the North, initiated a guerrilla war in the south. People's Army of Vietnam, also known as the North Vietnamese Army, engaged in more conventional warfare with the United States and the South Vietnamese forces. North Vietnam invaded Laos in 1958, establishing the Ho Chi Minh Trail to supply and reinforce the Viet Cong. By 1963, the North had sent 40,000 soldiers to fight in the South. U.S. involvement increased under President John F. Kennedy from just under 1,000 military advisors in 1959 to 23,000 by 1964. This is the period of the war we're in, so this is going to be a very interesting comic in that we have... All media that we get now is obviously varnished by the fact that, spoiler alert, it didn't end well. We had a lot of negative feelings about the Vietnam War after it was over.
So Kennedy is president right now.
John F. Kennedy is still president, and the majority of the country at this point feels pretty good about the Vietnam War.
Yeah, because we're fighting the rest.
As it stands at this point. I mean, the Gulf of Tonkin incident has not even happened yet.
Okay.
So the Gulf of Tonkin incident happens in August of 1964, and that is actually where LBJ gets the authority to increase American involvement in the Vietnam War, and it starts to become a issue which divides the country. So at this point, there isn't really any opposition to the war, not on a large scale. I don't know how much of this political commentary I'm going to be keeping in.
Right.
I'm going to try and keep it to just the historical stuff. We'll see how it turns out in the editing.
All right. So.
It's not political to say that Richard Nixon was a bad president. I'll give that. The guy resigned after Watergate. I'm just going to...
He did commit a criminal act.
I'm going to just objectively state, you know,
he started the EPA, Zach. He took the country off the gold standard and he opened talks with China.
He opened talks with China.
Yeah. You know, there's a comic book where it's heavily implied that he led the secret empire in an attempt to have a coup in the United States, and then when Captain America defeats him, he commits suicide rather than face justice. And they have to get a lookalike to replace him to resign so that the country isn't shamed. And maybe we'll read that comic at some point. If you're interested, let us know in the comments.
All right. Absolutely. I'm interested.
Yeah.
American General on board with these transistors. I can tell you that. I don't know what problem they're going to solve in Vietnam, but God damn it, they're going to solve
all them safe vault doors.
I know. All those Viet Cong safe vault doors, blown up. Yeah. Absolutely blown up.
Anthony Stark, rich, handsome, known as a glamorous playboy, constantly in the company of beautiful, adoring women.
Look, there's Tony Stark.
He's the dreamiest thing this side of Rock Hudson.
The Riviera was a real drag till you showed up, darling.
So Rock Hudson was an American actor.
He was gay, though. He
was gay.
Totally gay.
You spoiled the punchline down here, but although discreet regarding his sexual orientation, it was known among Hudson's colleagues in the film industry that he was gay.
No, he was a good-looking guy. I've seen a lot of Rock Hudson movies.
In 1984, he was diagnosed with AIDS.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he died of AIDS.
Yep.
Very gay. Him and the father from Brady Bunch.
All right.
Also very
This is the inspiration for Tony Stark, is he?
Yes.
Yes. So,
apparently in 1963, they were not
you think
admitting that Rock Hudson was gay.
David?
Playboy.
What do you think? Hot or not?
His eyes are a bit spaced apart, aren't they? He's got like fucking chameleon eyes going on there.
But not bad looking.
I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
The thing is, I'm not that interested. So it's weird that it must be tragic to be him because he's gay in a world where women are attracted to him, but men aren't.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's
tragic
like
hero.
A Greek tragedy, basically.
Yeah,
that is. I was gonna say that's not the best picture I've seen of him, honestly. So this side of Rock, so I guess they're on the heterosexual side of Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Anthony Stark is both a sophisticate and a scientist. A millionaire bachelor, as much at home in a laboratory as in high society. But this man who seems so fortunate, who's envied by millions, is soon destined to become the most tragic figure on Earth. I got news
Even
for
more
you.
tragic.
He's not
Oh.
destined to be the most
No, I was
tragic
gonna say
figure
he's
on
Iron
Earth.
Man.
He's still going to be a rich playboy millionaire. Like, all of his problems are going to be solved within, like, 2 issues of this becoming a continuing series.
So this is kind of Marvel's answer to Bruce Wayne, right?
Some people have direct equivalents between the two, like Hawkeye and Green Arrow are obviously the same character. You know, you've got
Right.
Namor the Submariner and Aquaman.
Right.
Very similar. Iron Man and Batman is kind of like a combination of, like, Iron Man and Daredevil on the Marvel side.
Right. Playboy, at home
Yeah.
in the laboratory, doing a lot of science. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I like about Batman is he doesn't have any superpowers.
So you're gonna like this, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, he compensates with some stupid suit.
You're saying Batman doesn't compensate with a stupid suit?
But he
Yeah.
doesn't have a mechanical suit. He really
He
does depend
sometimes.
more
When he fights
on...
Bane, he does.
He does really rely more on, like, Daredevil senses, kind of martial arts kind of stuff. I'm not liking that dress that she's wearing. I'm just going to critique the fashion.
I'm going to take out all the political stuff, but I'm going to leave in all your catty comments about women's clothes.
Absolutely. I'm going to make catty comments.
I hope we get to read girls' comics at some point. That'd be fun.
Oh, can we
that
do
will
some
be
of
fun.
Can we do some of those romance ones?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Our tale really has its beginning halfway around the world, in a South Vietnam jungle, menaced by Wong Chu, the Red Gorilla Tyrant.
Ha! I have brought another village to its knees. Now for the wrestling match. If any prisoner can defeat Wong Chu, I free whole village. Because apparently I don't have command of
they
the
have-
language. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
They
got
have
news
no
for you.
articles,
Even Mary asked if before we started if she should do a racist voice for this or not, and I didn't want to say anything. But you're kind of not going to have a choice.
Because I free
written
whole
like that.
village. Because I speak in pidgin English.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the best it gets. We're gonna be getting worse here.
So,
And also, for the record, Wong Chu, not a Vietnamese name.
well, but I'm obviously a red communist, so I'm from China. And
I
I've
guess,
come,
yeah, you're a Chinese
arguably-
military advisor, maybe.
I've come to be
He's
a
a
military
military
advisor.
advisor, exactly.
Yes.
Desperate to save their village, the strongest of the natives accepts the warlord's challenge.
Ah, you are good. But Wong Chu better.
You got
I
the
have
first
no-
sentence right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another and another tries in vain.
I am strongest of all. Next to Wong Chu, other men are but fleas. Now, why did you assign me the racist character? That's what I want.
The what? The what? What?
Me, the
What?
What you mean
character.
racist? What? There was
What
no
do
warning at
you
the start of this comic. This
mean?
character clearly isn't racist.
I don't see
I don't.
anything racist. What?
Oh. Disney 2023 agrees. Nothing racist
Exactly.
here.
Look at that guy in the background. He's got buck teeth.
This is
This is terrible.
this is horrifying.
This is awful.
Imagine YouTube strikes this for racism.
We
Yeah,
don't
can we
have-
put that up? Put that up at the beginning of our video, please. It is over. Now let us plunder the town, for none can stop the victorious Wong Chu.
Meanwhile, on the outskirts of the jungle,
The red gorillas outnumber us. Our heavy artillery could beat them, but we can't transport such big weapons through the dense jungle.
So, that's where my midget transistors come in, eh?
it's little person transistors.
Damn it, yes.
Fuck me.
And what the hell? Transistors are going to replace heavy artillery? I'm
Apparently,
sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
we're
buying
gonna
this.
get to it. We're gonna get to it. All right.
He's going to transport them with the transistors and
midget
then use the
transistors.
artillery.
Right. Thanks to your inventions, our mortars are no larger or heavier than flashlights. Our men can carry them anywhere.
Take cover. There's the enemy. You'll see your guns in action now!
Are they recruiting old fellas already?
Okay, so these transistors are like anti-grav devices now?
Yeah, it's like the repulsor technology. You know how Iron Man has like the hand and feet things?
Okay,
Yeah.
alright.
So he's using those for mortars.
Okay.
That's why I was sent here, to make sure they work as well as planned. If not, I'll fix them on the spot.
Just look at the Reds retreat!
Stark, your weapons are everything we hoped for.
Are those Reds dying in a cloud of...
I guess so, yeah.
Approved by the comic book's code.
Well, they're Reds, so they can die.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, they're standing up. They might still be alive.
Okay, they'll hit the ground and then get up and
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, it's very vague.
Battlefield minutes later.
The Reds never knew what hit them.
But the jungle holds 1,000 perils. Some natural, others man-made.
Oh no, he's gonna trip over a tripwire.
Yeah.
That's why they call them tripwires, because you trip.
And tripping over a small concealed string leads to disaster. Boom!
A booby trap! Oh!
His mild surprise. Oh.
Minutes later.
Yankee civilian still alive. Him, maybe. I'm sorry.
There's another O coming.
Oh, that, and I'm racistly speaking pidgin English. Oh my god. Okay. Yankee civilian still alive. Him may be important official of government. I bring him to Wong Chu. Maybe get reward.
Oh!
Later, at the Guerrilla Chief's headquarters.
His papers reveal he is famous Yankee weapons inventor. How is he?
Bad! Much shrapnel near his heart. Impossible to operate. Cannot live longer than 1 week. In a few days, shrapnel will reach his heart. Then he will die. Nothing can save him. Suddenly I'm a lot more verbose.
Bah! We can use his genius. Wong Chu will trick him into spending his last days on Earth working for us. Is he strong enough now?
Yes, he can work till shrapnel reaches heart.
We know you are American weapons inventor. If you design powerful new weapon for me, afterwards, I have surgeon save your life.
He's lying. If they could, they'd do it now. To be sure, I live long enough to design weapons for them. I know I've only days to live, but my last act will be to defeat this grinning, smirking red terrorist. All right, Wong Chu, I'll do it.
I knew you would not hesitate to betray your country to save yourself.
Because he's an American.
Exactly, he's a decadent capitalist.
Here, room where you work. Plenty of scrap iron, plenty tools.
This, I promise you, I shall build the most fantastic weapon of all time. I'll build it all right, but it will be mine. Click. Made for only one purpose, to keep me alive. Every tick of the clock brings the deadly piece of shrapnel closer to my heart. I've got to work faster than I've ever worked before. Can't afford a single mistake.
Then, on the second day of Tony Stark's race against time...
This old one, Professor Yinsen, once great scientist, now lowly manservant of Wong Chu, will help you build weapon.
No, I will never help the evil red tyrants. Never! Alright, so in comic books, we will sometimes take breaks for pages like this.
The fuck
Mary's
is this?
leaving the room.
Mary's leaving the room.
she saw the treasure bomb.
What's this, an ad?
No, this is a short story, a prose short story, which is being printed in this comic book.
Why?
There are 3 lines here, so I thought we could each take one and try and just get through this as quick as we can. Yeah, I don't know why they did this at all.
Yeah, this looks like a pain to navigate.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, at least it kind of shows
Oh,
me.
I see. I
All
see.
right. So which order do we want to do these? There are 3 lines. Someone has to go first, second, third.
I don't mind. I
We're
can go
reading
first if
the,
you want.
All right, David will go first.
The-
Mary, do you have a preference?
I don't have a preference now.
I'll go in the middle. You can go last.
Zach's always in the middle.
Yeah.
Tommy's scrawny yellow pup was a wishing dog. What the fuck is a wishing dog?
I don't know.
Is that a breed?
We got
Don't
one
know.
sentence in.
Is it a dog who strives for something? Or
I don't know. He's a wishing dog.
all right. He told that to his parents the very first day the scraggly-haired hound turned up at the back door. Now, you're not going to take that little animal into this house, warned Mr. Miller. He doesn't look very strong to me. And you know what the doctor said, Tommy, about your being careful after this long winter's illness? Tommy's face was thin and pale, but the sight of the forlorn puppy brought a pink glow to his cheeks. Why, the puppy looked as if he understood what it was to be sick and lonely. Tommy was much better these days, but his parents had moved to a warm climate, hoping that would speed his recovery.
I
There's
thought
a
you would
screen-
appreciate this, David, since it's about like a sick child with that's
wish for a
thin
mother.
and pale. Yeah, I thought this
Very
would remind you of
Irish.
Irish literature.
Yeah, it's very Irish.
People are always thin and pale.
Well, it's because they're
Yeah,
starving.
this is famine literature
That's
right
the
here.
whole-
All right, there was a he there I haven't
Yeah,
read.
so
I'll just
there's
remember
a
that.
he, and I will transition as you say it.
He didn't have the chance to make friends and play actively with the other children in the neighborhood. The pup's little eyes looking up at him seemed to offer a promise of companionship that Tommy was so eager to find. I'll give him a bath, promised Tom anxiously. Then, as his mother came out into the yard to see what was going on there, he appealed to her. I'll lie outside for my sunbath without ever moving a muscle or complaining. I can pull up a chair for Wish to make him comfortable in the shade. Please, can't he stay with us? Also, Wish is his name, alright. Wish? Asked his mother curiously. What do you mean by that? Tommy looked seriously into the moist brown eyes of the dog. He's a wishing dog. That's what...
I mean, can't you tell? I can, honest. Just take a good long look and you'll see what I mean. His parents exchanged knowing glances. Tommy had some problems in the head.
Yeah.
Tommy, during his long days of confinement, may not have been able to exercise his legs, but he had given his imagination a thorough working out.
He masturbated a lot.
The doctor assured them that it was a good thing for Tommy that he was able to amuse himself. They had learned to humor him and play along with his games of make-believe, although Mr. Miller suspected very strongly that Tommy was shrewd enough to make capital of this technique in order to convince them that the dog should stay. This is some weird 1960s writing.
Why is this in the middle
Shrewd
of the
enough
comic?
to make capital of this technique. I love it.
Okay.
Mr. Miller stared down at the dog skeptically. He couldn't remember when he had seen a more shaggy-looking animal. I'll tell you what, Tom. If it's a dog you want, I'll take you down to the kennels, and we'll pick one out. He was sure that his son would leap at the offer. Tommy shook his head. Wish wants to live here with me, he said. Maybe not forever, because there are lots of people and places he has to go visit. When he leaves, we'll go to the kennels and get the dog you mentioned.
Shut the fuck up, Kyle.
Check the fact.
He kind of progressively turned into Cartman there.
I love the last sentence is weird too. And we'll get the dog you mentioned. Like his son is an alien.
I know.
We will get the dog
Yeah.
you
Tommy is an
mentioned.
alien.
We shall retrieve this pup you mentioned.
I intend to make capital of this offer, father.
I don't.
All right. Mr. Miller agreed.
Well, Tommy had a good point.
But don't overdo this wish business. The dog can stay for a while, if that's what you really want. First thing, let's get him cleaned off, and I'll check with the dog pound about the regulation on...
Oh, picking up his license, if no one claims him. Mr. Miller came on to this idea of Tom's pretty quickly. I mean, it was just like, yeah, no, this is a wish dog. We'll get that dog you mentioned later. And he's like, okay, fine. Don't worry, Tom, assured his mother with a smile as she bent over the pup to take him into the utility room for a good scrubbing. No one will turn up for Wish. He doesn't look as if he had a friend in the world. Excepting me, replied Tommy proudly. After his bath, Wish frolicked in the lawn with Tom. He was much improved for the tubbing, but he was hardly what you could call beautiful. The tubbing? I don't think I've ever seen anything as ugly as that dog, confessed Mrs. Miller to her husband. But Tom's heart is set on helping the poor thing. I'd like it a lot better if Tommy could get a stronger foothold on reality and stopped dreaming up his fanciful tales, said Mr. Miller. Just then, Tom came running over to him with Wish rapidly following at his heels. Why, Tommy is acting like a new person already, Mrs. Miller pointed out. I love that his parents are Mr. and Mrs. Miller.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Miller.
No
They
names.
sleep in separate beds.
We're very formal about his parents. He hasn't shown that much spirit in months. Now that Wish is counting on staying here for a while, he says we can ask for the one thing we really want, and it will come... Oh, this was Tommy, sorry. I'm sorry.
Tommy was a man.
Tommy became...
Tommy hit puberty.
Dog meant Tommy a man.
Well,
Tommy's been jerking off, and
Well,
he was
and,
a man.
so he put... Now that Wish is counting on staying here for a while, he says we can ask for one thing we really want, and it will come true, Tommy announced. Tommy, I thought I told you I didn't want to hear any more of that nonsense, said his father sternly. A hurt expression came over Tommy's face, and his mother...
All right, well, the other half of that story will be appearing on a later page.
What the
We're going to have to
fuck?
divide it up again.
And his mother...
So remember, put a cork in that.
Dot.
Put a cork in that. We're going to come back around.
Hello. Sorry.
No.
All right, I'm finished eating this M&M.
I know.
Oh my God, he's eating M&Ms.
I was telling Zach that I'm just on a cliffhanger about this whole Tommy incident. And I don't know what he's going to wish for.
Fucking Tommy. Who gives a fuck?
I do, David. I do. All right?
Oh, well. Sorry.
All right.
Professor Yinsen. In college, I read your books. You were the greatest physicist of all. Then everyone thought you died.
I'd have been better off if I had. I was pressed into slave labor by the Reds, and when I resisted, Wong Chu took me prisoner. No longer able to work in secret, Anthony Stark must reveal his plans to the aged scholar, the only human he dares trust. An Iron Man. Fantastic. A mighty electronic body to keep your heart beating after the shrapnel reaches it. We just might succeed. Think what a creature we could create. What wonders he shall perform.
Still sounds like they're making a monster, but
It really does.
a creature. Like. And the Reds themselves give us all the materials we will need.
How is this shrapnel working its way to his heart? Is it like
Yeah, I know.
Splinter
The
gets
movie
into
came
you
out
and
in, what, like 2010? They still hadn't come up with a really good answer for that. It's still just
Yeah,
like,
it
I don't
still
know, it
didn't make
is.
sense in the
Is it
movies.
sentient? I don't understand why it's going after his heart.
No, I was thinking the same thing as we were reading it. Yeah, it's like, why? How is it slowly going towards his heart?
But that's literally still like the plot point in the movie. I'm pretty sure I
'cause
remember
it's
because
gonna
I saw
I
it
think it
there.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, it just is.
I mean, people have lived with shrapnel in their bodies for years. They don't. It doesn't move. It doesn't move.
But that was the plot of like The World Is Not Enough too, right? The bullet is still going into the guy's
Yeah,
brain,
and
but like
it's
really,
slow-
really
yeah,
slow.
And it's
Them crafty Reds came up with
right.
living
And it
shrapnel.
doesn't- That's why it doesn't feel any
It's a
pain.
thing that I think writers think happens, but doesn't really happen.
All right.
Yeah, they don't know how transistors work. So
No, they don't.
Thus, a dying man's desperate race against time continues.
I've done extensive work with transistors. I can design them in any size to perform any function. Yeah, they're just magic.
We shall use them to operate the machine electronically, to move countless gears and control levers.
You know, in a modern comic, they would be calling it nanotech.
That's
basically all this
absolutely
is.
would.
Yeah.
All activity must be coordinated perfectly. The iron frame must duplicate every action of the human body.
It shall, my friend, it shall. This shall be the crowning achievement of my life.
Hours pass into days as the shrapnel moves closer and closer to Anthony Stark's heart.
I can feel the pressure. My time is running out. We must work faster.
There! The self-lubrication system is completed. Just a little longer. You must have courage.
Yeah, that's self-lubrication.
The self-lubrication system. It's a plot point.
Okay.
And then, when the doomed American's condition becomes critical, when he can no longer stand,
The life-giving heart of your iron body is ready. Quickly, clamp it around your chest.
Why does this Professor Yinsen sound like he's passing about when he speaks?
Because he's old.
yeah, he's excited.
Oh, he
he's having a good
Alright.
time.
Alright.
He's passionate about something. He's
Alright.
been captive for so long,
I know, that damn long
and
chew.
for the first time, thanks to Tony Stark, he has hope for the future. So
Alright.
he's
Alright.
invested.
Your
Particular.
man on the flying carpet.
Mm.
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon.
Okay.
There! It is done! When I activate the machine, your own amazing transistors will furnish the power to keep your heart beating. You should live as long as the iron body operates.
So in this one, he has to be in the iron thing the entire time. He can't take the iron body off.
Yeah.
Because the shrapnel will kill it.
Yeah.
Like in the other one, in the movie, he's got the little arc thing.
I'm sure he'll develop a portable version later on or something.
Okay.
This generator will soon build up enough energy to furnish all the power you'll need to move.
Is Tony dying or is this old fella dying?
I don't know. I think he's
Popping peas
He's
might
getting
make it
worse
better,
and
I don't know. But suddenly,
The warning light we installed, it flashes. Someone is approaching. It must be Wong Chu. If he enters now, all our work will have been in vain.
So while they're in prison, they install a camera
warning
and
light?
warning
Yeah.
light.
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're geniuses.
Wong Chu must be kept away until the mighty electronic body begins to power the heart of Anthony Stark. My life is of no consequence, but I must gain time for Iron Man to live.
I knew this fucker was gonna
Two,
die.
two notes. One, David, you are not seeing.
You
Zach.
don't know that he's going to die.
you are not seeing Zach and his gestures while he does this.
Haven't
whole-
you seen-
I can imagine that a bunch of veins are popping on his
yeah.
forehead. As he
He's like-
struggles
he's
to
clenching
get these
all the
lines out.
videos
He's
of great
clenching
voice
his
actors,
fists,
they're
yeah.
always acting in the
He's
sound
clenching his fist.
Oh, yeah.
It's going on, and then secondly, why is he talking one part and then thinking the rest of it?
I have no
why
idea.
Doesn't he just
like
talk
you
the
think,
whole thing?
or why doesn't he think the whole
Yeah,
thing?
or
Like-
think the whole thing. Like, why is he half talking
This
and half
part of
thinking?
I can't admit that my life is of no consequence verbally.
Because who
I
the
can
hell is
only
he
think
talking to? Wong Chu must be kept away
He's
until the
talking
mighty.
to Tony.
No, and it begins to power the heart of
Right,
Anthony
Anthony
Stark.
Stark?
He's not talking to Tony. He's talking to himself, but he's talking to himself and then thinking to himself. And I don't know why he's doing both. To yourself.
Well, you always keep the part where you're gonna sacrifice yourself a secret. That's just kind of like a trope.
I also like that we have, as with every good comic book, we need an arrow here to tell us where to read, which panel to read
Which panel
next.
to read next?
Yeah, I want. Did the whole page look like a mess?
Yeah. Well, let's pull out to the whole page. Well, actually, this isn't that bad.
It's not that bad.
I've
actually.
seen
Go
much
across,
worse
and
than
then
this.
down and then over. Okay.
Usually, that arrow means someone's really messed up. Then, before the Reds can enter the room, the brave Professor Yinsen makes one desperate last effort.
Death to Wong Chu! Death to the evil tyrant!
Slam! Click.
He has gone mad! After him! End his miserable life. He is of no further use to me.
And thus, the gallant Chinese scientist buys precious seconds for Anthony Stark, while the life-sustaining machine builds up more and more power behind the locked door.
Bang! It is done. Drag him away.
You will not have died in vain, my friend. I swear it. The Iron Man swears it.
Then, even as Professor Yinsen breathes his last, the electronic marvel begins to stir.
That's the name of the company. The transistors have sufficient energy now. My heart is beating normally. The machine is keeping me alive. Alive! I'm Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the transistor-powered circuits are coordinated with my brain waves, just as any living human's brain controls his own body.
That's handy.
Oh, cool, yeah.
So this is where I planned to look up what transistors actually did, in case you thought maybe it was something that coordinated with your brain waves.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
We didn't even get that far. We were like, how do they cause force
Yeah.
fields and shit?
You guys are a little bit too critical.
How do they bust open a door?
It's like, wait, transistors? What do you mean?
But I'm losing my balance, Todd.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Iron Man sucks.
Yeah.
Well, he's in a giant metal body.
He's like a toddler. He's learning to walk again.
Oh my god, David.
Oh my god, David.
I am psychic. I'm
You
actually
are.
a
Oh
superhero,
my God.
lads. Sorry, I kept it a secret so long. I'm like a baby learning to walk, but I haven't time. I must learn quickly. I must get the knack of manipulating this massive, unbelievably powerful iron shell before the Reds find me, or else I'll be at their mercy.
But the brain, which has mastered the secrets of science, is also capable of mastering its new body. And so...
I have the feel of it now. I can stand, move, even walk without toppling.
What a triumph.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it just took so he just had to think, I shouldn't fall over.
I
and
can
then that was
stand
fine.
and walk.
Yep, there we go.
Meanwhile, outside the locked door...
Break it down! Smash it! I must learn what has happened in there! Wham! Whoa!
And that is the end of the page. You can see the page number down
Yeah,
there. It's just...
yeah. Wham! Whoa!
They're coming. This is my greatest test. Can the thing I have created survive? The thing which is less than human, yet far more than merely human. This thing which is now Anthony Stark. Wham.
It's like a mirror in there.
I guess, he can look at himself.
Yeah, he's reflecting how he's lost his humanity and shit.
Oh, no.
We don't have time for that.
Existential
One panel.
crisis
Oh, God.
activated.
Oh god, I'm less than human, but yet more than human. What do I do?
Nietzsche.exe. My brain still thinks. My heart still beats. But in order to remain alive, I must spend the rest of my life in this iron prison.
Damn.
Bit fast to be regretting the decision already, like.
Really, yeah.
He also, he gets out of this iron prison in about 3 issues.
I fucking knew it.
There is no the rest of his life.
Oh, this looks interesting. He looks like a gimp now.
Yeah, I know. This is the stupidest thing about early Iron Man, is you can see his eyes through the helmet. Eventually, he got a system where, plexiglass closes over it so he can't be drowned through the helmet, which was a problem early on. But even that is an automatic system that only kicks in if he activates it, so you can still catch him if you're
focus on
fast
it.
enough. It's so dumb. But this bitter realization is suddenly interrupted as the Iron Man snaps back into reality.
They'll soon be through the door. I must conceal myself until I can plan my next move. Do they unironically spell true like that?
Yes, that is how comic books do it.
Spell through like
Oh, is it like saving text or something?
Yeah.
Do they do that with any other words?
I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye out. Through is the one that
Cool.
you see most often.
Fortunately, Yinsen and I equipped my iron body with many attachments, such as these. I'll fasten these suction cups to my palms and turn on my transistor-powered air pressure jets. That's the first superpower we see, fucking suction cups.
suction
Yes.
cups and air-powered,
Jesus Christ.
transistor-powered air
Yep.
pressure jets.
I was just looking forward to when we get into the real Iron Man.
This is the gadgets.
I
Right
love
here.
they keep referring to it as his iron body.
Yeah.
Still transistors doing things transistors don't do.
What are you talking about?
They work. They give me the power to soar into the air.
Well, they're transition-powered suction cups.
They don't dream of looking up here in the shadows.
The Yankee is gone, and he has built us no weapons. He cannot be far. Find him and dispose of him as you did the other. Dare defy me.
They killed the professor. A man who never harmed anyone in his life. Well, yeah, that's why they killed him. The murdering swine. They'll pay for it. I swear it. Iron Man swears it.
While you hunt down the Yankee, I shall amuse myself at my favorite sport. Ha ha ha.
And we know what his favorite sport is.
What's a Chinese sport? Kung Fu? Ping pong.
Wrestling.
It's wrestling. He loves wrestling, remember?
Because I
He
wrestled.
wrestled-
Oh,
with
he
people
wrestled
before.
all the villagers,
Mary
yeah.
knows her character. I love Iron Man did a lot of swearing it. Like Iron Man swears it.
Yeah, well, I do love that.
He's barely been in the
That's
suit.
his oath. Now. He's been in the suit like 5 minutes, and he's like, "Oh, but I swear by my iron body."
Yeah, by my iron body.
He's getting full of himself already.
Yeah. Look at those baby blues, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's why they did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then, seconds after the Reds depart,
Yes, Wong Chu, amuse yourself while you still can. For our moment of reckoning is almost at hand.
in the courtyard,
Ha! I win again.
None can defeat the mighty warlord.
I say he is a coward. I challenge Wong Chu.
Who dares speak thus to Wong Chu? Show yourself. Let me see the face of the one I am about to destroy. Suddenly, I'm using prepositions.
yeah, I know, it goes back and forth. It couldn't even be consistently racist.
And
That's-
this
I don't know if
is
it's better or
Iron Man.
worse.
This is Iron Man in the fedora and duster
Yeah,
there.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
He gets classic cartoon disguise. This is what the
Okay.
Ninja Turtles always went out in.
Yeah.
So I shall remove my clothes.
That is a key part to any wrestling.
Let's just
All
Need
wrestling.
to get oiled up.
let's
Yeah.
just dwell on this for a minute.
So Wong Chu just had a fedora and trench coat laying around.
Yes,
I think they're Tony Stark's old clothes, no? He was wearing this outfit.
maybe. Why was he wearing a trench coat in Vietnam? Isn't it like
No idea.
absurdly hot?
And humid?
Yeah.
I don't know.
As you wish, tyrant. First I shall remove my clothes. Why do you stare, Wong Chu? What is wrong? Have you never seen an Iron Man before?
Well, as a matter of fact, no, because you just invented it.
Somebody needs to Photoshop in just like a naked dude, fully
Yeah.
erect. Have you
Iron
never seen
Man?
an Iron Man before?
I do love how the boots look like fucking Nike trainers or something.
Oh yeah.
You are not human. You are machine. Again, I've lost prepositional use.
Yeah.
And you are a heartless man of evil who is about to pay for his misdeeds.
Then, before the startled eyes of the red hordes, two electronically powered arms seized Wan Chu, lifting him easily as they would a toy.
You are not facing a wounded, dying man now, or an aged, gentle professor. This is Iron Man who opposes you, and all you stand for.
You make me lose face. I destroy you. Even you can be slain. Guards, open fire. Destroy Iron Man.
It will take more than small arms fire to penetrate my cast iron body.
Get
Clang,
grenades.
pow.
Bring bazookas. Quickly, you fools. Quickly. It's transistors. I answered my own question. I'm like, a cast iron body, that thing has to weigh like a ton.
Yeah,
There's
but
no way you
it's
would-
transistors
Transistors.
to use
But
the
it's
gears.
transistors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But before the heavier weapons can be brought into play,
I'll just reverse the charge on this magnetic turbo insulator. It's just a horseshoe magnet.
Oh my god.
he's
Is he
reversing the
polarity?
charge on he is reversing the charge on this magnetic turbo insulator.
So he's pulling a Star Trek and reversing the polarity.
Yeah. And use a top hat transistor to increase its repelling power 1,000-fold.
You can tell that someone got bought like a magazine with an article, and he thought it was
Yeah.
really cool. And then this comic got made.
Absolutely. He's like,
I don't know
whoa,
what
a top hat transistor.
I get that it's a top hat because there's that little thing
Yeah.
that looks like a top hat pulling all of the little wires together. But why would that increase your repelling?
No, there's no reason. He's just like, I'm doing it.
This.
Well, didn't you read the Wikipedia? The output is stronger than the input.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. And he's got a little slot for it. It's handy that he made a little slot
I think
for it
they
there.
thought that transistors meant like you could just generate endless electricity.
So
Yeah,
it's-
it just, like,
it's
it just
essentially
boosted
perpetual
the
motion
whatever.
machine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, so this happens.
There, reverse magnetism. It works like a charm.
Panicked by the incredible demonstration, the gorillas flee.
Stop! Come back! The magnet affects only metal. Sheer manpower can still defeat him!
And it isn't really reverse. I mean, it's just magnetism, right?
Right. Right.
Magnets just
He
word.
repels the thing.
Yeah, but in
it's
cartoons,
not
magnets
reverse-
always attract things.
Yeah. I guess when we colloquially use magnetism, we usually refer to attraction.
Right, attraction rather than
Repulsion.
The same poles repulsing themselves. But it's both. It's always
Yeah, it's
both.
just magnetism.
Yeah.
But whatever, magnets, how do they work?
And I'm not talking to no scientists.
Rushing into the nearest building, Wong Chu heads for the stairs.
Upstairs, there is a loudspeaker. In all this confusion and noise, they cannot hear me. I must talk over loudspeaker.
That is confusion and noise.
And noise. It is noise.
Yeah, if you want to take the line again.
Upstairs, there is a loudspeaker. In all this confusion and noise, they cannot hear me. I must talk over loudspeaker.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Noise.
Okay.
There's a lot of things I love about this. I love, one, that this guy's just barefoot here in Vietnam,
Yeah,
like in the jungle.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want to do that. Secondly, I love just
There's
like...
shrapnel lying around, a bunch of shrapnel of exploded
Also, we have
grenades.
just like
Cobras.
classic authoritarian thinking. It's like, oh, they're running away because they can't hear me loudly enough.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
problem,
They
clearly.
can't hear me.
Yeah.
that's
Heard me.
that's the issue.
Yeah,
If I
they
just
need
cast
to
my
hear
bardic spell on them, I can
Yeah.
rally them.
me. Yeah. Listen, my warriors. 10,000 yen to the one who destroys Iron Man.
Fucking yen.
I know.
An easy matter for me to create electrical interference to drown out his words with static.
I don't know if that's like if the yen thing is
Yeah.
like deliberate or not. Like,
Like
are they implying that
the
they're like they have to
Chinese,
use
yeah.
a Western aligned currency, right? Like, obviously, whatever made up communist currency they have is valueless.
Or is
so they
yen
have
No
to
Yeah.
fucking
offer-
way they're that clever.
Yeah, I know.
Or yen is just the one Asian currency they do.
Or did
Yeah.
they just hear yen once and think Asian?
Yeah, I feel like so we've got a Japanese currency with a Chinese leader in Vietnam. Is where so all Asians look alike.
Chinese leader thing kind of makes sense. I mean, because the
Right.
Chinese are supporting.
But my
Viet Cong,
point
but
is,
yeah,
all Asians look alike. That's
yeah.
what it is.
It's hard to. You can give them the benefit of the doubt only to a certain point.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you kind of calls everything out into question. And then, to frustrate the warlord's efforts even further,
Now I'll switch my own voice onto the loudspeaker. Desert Wong Chu! Flee into the jungle!
I love also
Mic drop. is
that
what
this
we
kind
got.
of implies that the first part is a thought bubble. The art says that to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's coming out of the loudspeaker. He's
Yes.
thinking
He's the
through the
transistors.
loudspeaker.
The transistors
Make it possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Wang Shu's just like, oh.
Yeah, and I dropped the mic. I just dropped the mic. I'm so stunned. I don't know what my head's doing, but it's vibrating somehow. This is just a giant record that is the loudspeaker.
Yeah, I was really confused at the start. I was like, what the fuck is that meant to be? I thought it was a gong.
No.
I thought the rrrk sound effect was him banging a gong.
Yeah, the art is not necessarily the best in Silver Age comics. We're maybe going to be stopping on weird panels a lot in this series. Like this one.
What is happening? Those not my words.
None can defeat Iron Man. Flee before he slays you all.
I'm not sure what I love more. This art, the fact that everyone's speaking in English.
Uh-huh.
Everyone
Or the fact that Wong Chu is confused. That
is
this is not
confused.
his- that this is not his word.
It's like, what? I don't understand.
He's using the transistors to make it sound like Wong Chu's saying
Oh
it.
my god.
That's right. Transistors make it possible.
In panic, and without leadership, they'll soon be captured by South Vietnam troops. Oh yeah, the brave Arvin troops, so reliable.
Yep, that's gonna happen.
And now to settle with Wong Chu. He's locked the door, but that won't keep me out. My powerful transistor makes this miniature buzzsaw inside my index finger container outperform anything a dozen times its size. Zzz. Alright, Warlord, you're finished. Come down here.
You might terrify my troops, but not Wong Chu.
All right.
Again.
He's got a weapon ready.
Yes.
He's got a big box.
So, we're racing against time to build this suit to stop the shrapnel from entering Anthony Stark's heart.
Yes,
Yep.
that has basically been done.
But we also take the time to put a miniature buzzsaw in his index finger container.
Yes.
Yeah?
Why
Yes.
would we do that?
Well, the same reason we put suction cups on the hands and air jets in the boots.
I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like this suit could have been done way sooner if we had focused on the not killing Anthony
Yeah, maybe
Stark
that's why they
thing.
ran out of time.
All right. So, what is this secret weapon? What is
It's the big green box.
Yeah.
It's
gonna
a
push it
locker.
You can't stop a big green box. It's a file cabinet.
A filing cabinet.
And I throw a file cabinet at him. Take this, monster! Smash! Now, to order the execution of all my prisoners.
Ugh. He weighted each drawer of this cabinet with rocks!
Okay, you're in a fucking cast iron suit that is powered by transistors.
Fucking
But you can't-
transistors!
But you can't move a file cabinet with. Where the hell did he get the rocks? He had
Rocks
to
are his
take-
kryptonite.
Just take the
He was
files up.
upstairs
was
on
up-
the second
Yeah.
floor, running in a panic, and he just had a filing cabinet full of
So,
rocks
full
that he
of
hops
rocks,
down
because
the stairs.
the other possibility is he has a filing cabinet. He's taken all of the files out, put rocks in, so he had to have it there. So he thought at one point, you know what? I may need to fight somebody. I'm gonna have a filing cabinet full of rocks. And look at how he hurled that thing. He hurled Wong Chu
Like a
lifted up.
fucking man.
Lifted up this filing cabinet full of rocks and
Yeah,
threw it at
but
Iron Man, and
he's-
Iron Man is now like,
stronger than Iron
"Ugh,
Man."
But
I
he's,
can't move.
he's the new communist man, whereas Tony Stark is a decadent alcoholic capitalist.
But he's carrying
True.
around this fucking suit of iron. This makes no sense to me. Why does a filing cabinet full of rocks stop Iron Man?
He should have made a suit out of rocks, clearly.
I love
Apparently.
the writing chops that Stan Lee displays here. So he's in the process of writing this, and earlier on he's like, all right, they use bazookas, and he gets rid of them with a magnet. Now it's time to up the stakes from bazookas. What can truly defeat Iron
A
Man?
filing cabinet full of rocks.
Filing cabinet full of rocks.
Well, okay, why doesn't
Brilliant.
his reverse polarity fling the filing cabinet? The filing cabinet is metal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't do anything to the rocks, true, but the filing cabinet is metal. So it should
Rock
reverse
too heavy,
into-
Mary.
Yeah. I mean, you would think.
So there's too much momentum, it goes through the magnetic field.
Yeah.
Okay.
as opposed
Well,
to a
no.
rocket, which has no momentum whatsoever.
Exactly. No,
No,
they're
absolutely
not going near. I mean, Wong Chu threw that thing at supersonic speed. That's why he is.
He said
leap-
sheer manpower can still overcome him,
He
and guess
is-
what? Manpower did.
He is
Yep.
leaping away like a gazelle.
If
He is
you
so happy.
if you ever wonder what does manpower look like,
It is
panel
that.
2.
It is
It's
that.
not panel 1.
leaping like a gazelle.
Panel 1 is virgin 1%er shit.
Mm-hmm.
Panel 2 is Chad working class proletariat shit, alright?
Oh my god. All right. Well, I'm gonna leap away. I'm gonna prance away in my little red jumpsuit.
Oh, but wait. But no drawers filled with rocks can hold back iron limbs powered by electronic transistors. Knowing he's defeated, Wong Chu is trying to murder all his prisoners before he stopped. I cannot allow that.
Transistors make it possible.
All
Yeah,
right.
so he was just temporarily immobilized
So
by
he
the
was
rock.
just, yeah, he was. He was just like, oh my gosh, he's filled it with rocks. But I'm in an iron body.
I'm free, but it took almost all my electrical power. The fucking rocks. I've got
Oh
to
my
recharge. I'm too low on energy to pursue Wang Chu. Yes, I can't let him get away. Wait, I have it.
So again, that part I say out loud, but the other part thinking
Yeah.
it to myself. Wow, I'm really slow.
Well, he doesn't
Oh.
want to let him in on the fact that his energy is
Yeah,
low.
Well, okay.
This is like a reoccurring thing in like Iron Man.
That he's
It's like,
losing-
oh no, I'm low on power. I need to recharge.
But I thought transistors could just do unlimited
Yeah, I know.
power.
They make magic power sometimes to just magically stop rockets, but apparently, drawers
and
filled with
to-
rocks just knock him the fuck out.
Well, that used all of his reserves.
Yeah. All right. Well, if I'm ever fighting Iron Man,
Anyway,
I
so
know
he's
what to
just
do.
twaddling off now.
Well, I'm leaping like a gazelle
Yeah.
through the snow.
Yeah, he's happy.
Am I leaping through the
I love
snow?
that Iron Man's make it sound like, oh, he's running away. I
Yeah.
think he thinks he beat you
Yeah.
easily.
Well, apparently he did, because he filled drawers' filing cabinet with rocks, and
Yeah.
that took up all your energy.
Unfastening his lubrication apparatus, the Iron Man squirts out a
Okay.
thin stream of oil.
All right.
The
All
lube
right.
did come up. I estimated it just right. The pressure's great enough for it to reach the ammo dump.
Guards, slay the prisoners now! So Iron Man is jizzing. That's what he's doing, right? He's literally.
He was
he's
saving that
jizzing.
one up.
He's jizzing.
No, Mary, he unfastened his lubricating apparatus.
Okay, whatever you want to call
And then
it.
squirts out a thin.
And squirts out
I
a
told
thin
you. I
stream.
told you that the lubricating of all the gadgets, the only one that we set up in
Was
the beginning was the
lubricating.
lubricating
We didn't have the
apparatus.
buzzsaw. We didn't have
Yeah, we
the
didn't.
Whatever.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
See, now he looks like he's actually scared. Now that the lubrication apparatus has come
Iron
out.
Man is jizzing on his ammo dump, so
I'm
I'd
here
be
to-
scared too. And I
Alright.
love that the signs are in English.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what the dang
Well, I'm
am,
gonna say
danger,
danger,
ammo,
ammunition. Yeah.
Saint Row.
Saint Ross.
I
Saints
don't know
Row. Oh no. Now he's die hard 2ing them.
We got a flamethrower in our suit now.
This will save the prisoners.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Blow up. So, to
Boom!
blow up the entire camp saves the prisoner.
Prisoners saved.
All right.
Mission accomplished.
Americans heroes.
That's
All right.
American, yeah.
Seconds later, Iron Man has recharged his iron batteries. And then
How did he recharge his batteries?
Yeah, and why he was all concerned. If it took
Yeah.
2 seconds, why the hell did he have to blow up the ammo dump?
Was there a plug somewhere in this jungle?
I don't. And how did he? I'm like, what? How?
Was he
how did
solar
he-
powers?
I don't.
I have set the prisoners free, and the Reds have fled in blind panic. It's all over. Now, Professor Yinsen, rest easy. You, who sacrificed your life to save mine, have been avenged.
So he
He's-
set the prisoners free by blowing them
he
up.
set the prisoners free into the cycle of reincarnation.
You
Okay.
freed them from their mortal coil.
Because you blew up the entire camp.
Yeah, I don't know who got freed here. It's weird that even the positive views of Vietnam kind of take on a grim aspect. Oh,
I think war crimes.
we
have
brought
been committed.
freedom here.
Yeah.
This is great. You couldn't have put in like one happy Vietnamese person being like, "Thank you, Iron Man."
Nope. They're all dead.
They're all dead.
As for the Iron Man, that metallic Hulk who once was Anthony Stark, who knows what destiny awaits him? Time alone will provide the answer. time alone.
Okay, so he put pants
The
on
end.
over that suit, right?
Yes.
He did.
How did
Yeah.
his pants fit over that suit?
Yeah, I think the original vision of Iron Man was he was just always going to be Iron Man.
Yeah.
But instead, they had a thing where Tony Stark is still Tony Stark, and Iron Man is just his bodyguard.
Well, it's Zach. It's Anthony Stark.
Anthony Stark.
Sorry. Yeah, they haven't shortened it once.
Don't miss more of Iron Man in the next great issue of Tales of Suspense.
We stood there silently, the two of us, watching our planet's last 4 remaining inhabitants boarding the last rocket. So there's 2 of us and we're watching the last 4. Are we watching ourselves?
Do you want to take the last rocket again in a way
You wanna
that sounds
take
a
that
little
again?
more energetic? You really didn't give a shit. I mean, the art looks like that you should give a shit, and you gave the least shits about the word rocket, and that's the one that's
The
like.
most emphatic word in the text, and maybe like, yeah, rocket. Anyway, listen.
But I became confused because I was like, there's 2 of us watching the last 4.
That's
Yeah,
not
our planet's
confusing.
There
I
are
don't see
2
the
of
problem.
us watching the last 4 boarding inhabitants
Yeah,
boarding the
there's
last rocket.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there are 6 people. 4 of them are on a rocket. 2 of them are watching. The rocket takes off.
So the 2 of us are the last inhabitants.
The
Yes.
the 2 of us are. I thought it was like the 2 of us are already on the rocket, and we're watching the last 4 get on from like a window. Yeah, then that makes sense.
That's what I'm like. That's what I wasn't understanding. I was very confused because there's 2 of
Just-
us watching.
You're right. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, just read the. You're not here. You're not getting paid. It just in general. Just read the damn lines.
All right, sorry.
It's 1963.
We stood there silently, the 2 of us, watching our planet's last 4 remaining inhabitants boarding the last rocket.
There we go.
Is that better? I'm still
Lovely.
confused as to where I'm standing watching these people leave.
You're on the rocket already, watching
So
from a
there's
window.
6 of us that are on the last rocket.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you were planning on thinking that this episode was going to end with like Iron Man,
Oh no, we're going to
it's
something
not.
else.
There's like 2 more stories we're going to read now here in Tales
We still
of
haven't
Suspense.
found out what happened to the fucking wishing
Yeah,
dog.
We
I
haven't
know,
figured
we
out.
got-
Obviously, you guys knew we weren't gonna go. We were not gonna go straight
Oh,
into the wishing
God.
dog. We got a couple of other comics, and we'll eventually get to the wishing dog, and we'll get through it. This is what it's like reading Silver Age comics.
All right, am I A, B, or C here? Don't be fools. Leave with us before it's too late.
This is your last chance to save yourselves.
It's useless. Those 2 mad fools are determined to die on a doomed planet.
Okay, so the 2 of us watching are not on the rocket. That's
No,
what this
exactly.
is
That's
saying.
what I'm saying. They're not. They're 2. They're 6.
So we're the last
Okay.
inhabitants. These three yutzes aren't
yeah,
the
the
last.
Yeah,
last-
but you're
the
but you're
last-
not the last to get on the rocket because you're
I
not
guess they're
getting on.
presuming that we're gonna die. I guess the 2 of them have also accepted that they're on a doomed planet, so the last inhabitants of the
that's
doomed planet are gonna leave.
Bad
and they're
grammar.
gonna die.
I don't know what's going on. Okay.
They kind of just churned these out pretty quick.
All right. Okay.
Noise.
Got noise.
Noise.
All right.
So
Here we are.
the guy on the left
Bye
there
now.
is
He's waving. He's waving
yeah,
goodbye.
That's you. That's male lead, and
Okay.
then female lead is
right.
red dress there.
David, you and I, Adam and Eve,
And the
on
lady in
doomed
red.
Planet.
Yep.
I have to cut that out. You spoiled the goddamn
Oh,
ending.
okay,
You
sorry.
spoiled
Okay,
the
cut that out.
fucking ending.
Well, it's weird.
It shows how predictable
Yes,
this
it's
is.
weird that I might have guessed that without. All right.
I don't know how you managed that, Mary. That's
I
amazing.
honestly, psychic, much like you, I also have some power.
You are also
Man.
psychic.
Fucking first
Alright.
try.
Might need
Good
a
job, by the
blooper
way.
reel.
Waving goodbye. I'm gonna go bang my lady. I don't have to share her with you guys now. Get out of here.
true.
How are you just gonna stand the whole way in that rocket? There was no room in
That's
that rocket
fine.
for anything. We're just standing on each other's
It's
shoulders.
fine.
Mad fools, I suppose to others, my wife and I always did appear like oddballs. And meanwhile, other people got their kicks from entertainment and sports.
Pictured here.
We found a richer satisfaction in beholding the wonders of nature.
The trees, the flowers, how beautiful they are.
Our greatest man-made creations are as nothing compared to nature herself. While others took all they could from the land. Ooh, shirtless guy. Woo! He's got gloves on, though. He's practicing safety. He's shirtless, but he has gloves on. And a helmet.
It's weird that we're now getting, like, progressive propaganda after we got, like, conservative propaganda in story
Well,
one. Now it's like, oh, environmentalism, I guess.
Yeah. We tried to enrich the land that had nourished us. This new fertilizer will improve the soil.
It's so wonderful to help things grow, to take part in creating life.
I'm
You
gonna
know what
create
that
some
means.
life in you, baby.
Ah,
But then, one fateful day.
I've rechecked our findings. There's no doubt about it. Some unknown force is causing the sun to grow cold. Within a year, it will be completely burned out.
Year? Wow, that's quick.
of course, global cooling,
Exactly.
Yeah, we are gonna freeze.
the greatest threat to humanity. A dead sun, the greatest disaster imaginable.
Without the sun, we'll have no light, no heat. Nothing will be able to survive. These people are very
See,
classic.
this is them trying to get like not creational, educational or something.
Yeah, I guess. But like, look at like how nonchalant these people are. It's
Oh,
just
we're
like,
just walking
I
down
guess.
the street.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
guess
man,
we're
a
all
dead
gonna
sun?
die.
Man.
Oh, the
greatest
sun
disaster
provides
imaginable.
heat.
Let's continue walking down the
We
street.
need that.
Oh, heads.
Yep, here we go.
And when the grim news was made public,
Our world is doomed.
our only chance of survival is to fly to another world.
Alert all government agencies. We must start building spaceships at once.
I also love this fourth woman's head, just like
there.
kind of poking in.
Ah.
Like, oh,
She has nothing useful to say. She's just like, oh,
in a man's hand.
that's me pointing at the government agencies.
Yeah, you government.
Then, while all industry turned to the production of rocket ships, people in every nation prepared to abandon the homes of their fathers.
Our family has lived here for ages. Why must we leave? Sob. Why?
When the sun dies, so will the valley. There will be nothing here to sustain us.
This guy has to explain to his wife,
Yeah.
hey, without the sun, we can't live
He's
here.
gone.
Like, we have nothing. But she's like, why? Why do we need the
She's
sun?
like, sun? What is sun?
I don't know.
Also,
why do we
what's
need
the-
sun?
What's the portrait of Stalin there in the background?
Yeah, I know.
It's fine. Yes, everyone was leaving. Except two oddballs.
We're going to work at the rocket plant so that we'll be sure of getting out on an early ship.
Why don't you join us?
Thanks, but we don't intend to leave our home.
Look at that skimpy skirt. She's
I know, she's in a miniskirt doing gardening. It's quite
Ooh la la.
interesting.
The whole planet,
They
only
could
two
be
people
shorts.
aren't on board with this
Yeah,
evacuation
I know.
thing.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it would be more than two people.
Well, that
Especially-
obviously that old woman wasn't, but
Especially
you know,
when we see the plan, which is just fire rockets into space and hope you land somewhere.
I think like some tribesmen in like Indonesia or whatever probably won't be high priority for the governments that built the
True.
rockets.
is this the other planet that we're looking at here?
Yeah, I know.
The other planet
no, I
that
think-
also has no sun?
No, I
This
think
is Earth when
I
the
think this
sun's
is
gone.
Earth, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's insane. When the sun dies, there'll be no light or warmth. Nothing will be able to live here. No vegetation, no livestock. It'll be a barren wasteland.
Yes, we know. But we had rather...
I love how smug he is about staying to die. Yeah, I guess you are gonna live, bitch.
Yes, we know, but we had rather live out our lives here on our mother planet than seek safety elsewhere. Because I'm a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
Our roots, our heritage are here. We cannot abandon them.
Okay.
You're like deadpan
insane.
anime reactions
Yeah,
right
just,
now.
Like, what? Okay.
They're like, what?
And so, we took no part in the great project for survival.
If you don't want to be leaving Earth, then you don't have to work on like the rockets or anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
that's
everyone
fine.
else is working on rockets.
Yeah. The Mercury 3 is what we're
Mercury
working on.
tree, yeah.
Yeah. I love that we're welding this spaceship.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Finally, the first ships were ready.
The sun's rays are getting weaker. Already the planet is starting to die.
We're leaving none too soon. We'll search the heavens until we find a planet warm enough and large enough to sustain us.
So they have no idea where they're going.
They have no idea where they're going.
Yeah.
They're in rocket ships that they have to stand the entire way.
Yes, and they're just hoping they
Do
find
they have
something.
food? Do they have
gonna
anything
be-
with them?
It's going to be like Wall-E.
Yeah.
Did they bring
Yeah.
seeds? What are they plan? I don't know. This is a bad plan. I can see why they're not involved.
There are some flaws.
Honestly.
There they go.
They've made their choice, and we made ours. It took months for the many ships to relieve the planet of its enormous population. And finally, when it was time for the last remaining rocket to blast off,
This'll be your last chance to leave.
Don't be fools. Don't sacrifice yourselves needlessly. Come with us.
All the Southerners get evacuated first.
Yeah, I know. Well, they get evacuated last. This is
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like the sun is just playing a trick and it's cooling down to get everybody off the earth and then it's going to warm right back up again.
You spoiled it again.
You're getting cut again, Mary.
It's like, no, I just want these two people to be on the earth. For some unknown reason, the sun has a plan.
Ah, you spoiled it. There wouldn't be a reason. Damn it.
It's like Adam and Eve are like reverse Noah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. But our answer was the same. This is our home. We're staying here.
It's useless to reason with them.
Let's go. We can't waste any more time.
I should have known it was me. The woman, I'd never let a woman speak for me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, you're the one,
Yeah.
you know,
I guess.
shouting. You got the hands up.
We're off to a new world and a new life.
Frightened, darling?
No, not as long as we're together. On the world of our ancestors. This wife is into some like weird,
wants some
she's
ancestors
into
stuff.
some
like
ancestor
weird
shit,
traditional
yeah.
voodoo
Oh,
shit.
Yeah, she's all Shinto-y on us here.
Yeah.
Now all that you and I, the last of civilization, can do is wait for the end.
You want to take that one again?
I guess I'm just
It is, admittedly, it is written like shit.
What am I saying? Now all that you and I, the last of civilization, can do is wait for the end.
How long will it be?
Frightened, darling?
How long will it be? Pretty long.
Pretty long. Let's go make love until the end.
Let's create
No, I
life.
never. We're creating life. Do you know what I never got about Western comic books?
Yeah.
It feels so unnatural to actually read the bold words with emphasis.
Yeah.
Because they're not in the right spot.
Yeah, the bold is never in like the normal place for like a
Yeah.
sentence
Yeah.
for ever to be said.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everyone
I
has
find that
like,
as well.
you feel like you're talking with a lot of exclamations. You're very
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the exclamations, I think, end every sentence.
Yeah, they do pretty much almost all.
like-
of
Yeah,
them.
We're
but the
constantly
sentence on this
screaming.
page has one.
We're constantly screaming at each other.
Yeah.
At the rate that the sun has been burning out, in another week, we'll have no light or warmth. And in a month or so, no food. We'll starve,
the-
honey. Frightened, darling?
I'm not frightened.
I
Look at
was-
the in before another. Is that in bold?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like, what the fuck?
I will say this is a thing specifically with like Silver Age comics. They loved exclamation points and bolds. This is
Yeah.
not necessarily a thing for all Western comics.
At the
It
rate
is-
that the sun has been burning out, in another week, we'll have no light or
Yeah.
warmth.
the
And
Silver
in
Age
a month or so,
is
no
easily
food.
the most ridiculous era of comic books. Like nothing has this kind of cracktastic glory.
Yeah, if you're not frightened yet, darling, we're gonna starve to death in a month or so. I feel like there'd be
Used to place,
canned
though.
goods. Did they take all the canned goods on the rocket ship?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, all the
probably.
Southerners
They
took
only
all
had
the
a year.
canned goods.
Yeah.
But until the last moment, we'll have our love.
Oh my god.
And the knowledge that we haven't abandoned 2 billion years of history.
Oh
of
my
our
God.
ancestors.
Kill this
And we have brought
now.
honor to our family.
Well, and hey, I got good news for you. As Adam and Eve, well, at least we'll be able to keep the bloodline pure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and my response is, yes, darling.
There she goes, rattling off again about her
Oh, God,
Shintoism.
about our love. Oh, God. But before I could finish the sentence, there was a sudden flash in the sky.
What's that?
I'm not sure. It looks like... Yes! Yes, it is! It's an exploding star!
The
That is
end.
going to kill
You're
us
dead.
now? Yeah, we're dead now.
Yeah, they're fucking dead. The sun blow up, the supernovas.
Look! A new sun has been formed!
That's not how that
No,
works.
it is not. It is so not how it works.
The Earth is fucking annihilated after
It
that.
is.
Fuck off.
We've totally been destroyed.
And we're in its orbit. We're saved. Saved.
Do you want to get a clean take where we have the two of you play off?
I don't want a clean take of that. Can
I
I
know.
keep that?
Yeah, this is probably the stupidest thing I have ever. A new sun to nourish our planet, to give us light and warmth.
And gamma radiation.
Yeah, we're dead. Look at the size of that sun. We're
They're getting
fried to a
fucking
crisp.
fried. We can go on living. We'll start a new race. The white race.
Apparently. Yikes. Yikes.
Look at this. This is.
Oh, this is all Nazis right here.
She is so Aryan, and
Yeah.
also I don't know how hardy they're gonna be
No, the
when they
inbreeding-
have to have sex with their own siblings.
No, the inbreeding, it's not going to work.
No.
You need at least 30 couples to make a
According
Suddenly,
to Star
suddenly
Trek.
this woman's obsession with her ancestors makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably her brother and her husband. Sister wife is what we've got going on here.
All right, do I take a clean
Let's
take
do
of
the
this
whole.
just
Let's do the
thing?
whole page
Yeah,
again.
let's do
Yeah.
the whole
All
thing.
right. Sorry. All right.
Give me a minute. Hold on. That's
All right.
fuck me. Okay, I'm ready.
A new sun to nourish our planet, to give us light and warmth.
We can go on living. We'll start a new a new race. No, I'm starting again. Okay. No, I actually need a minute. Fuck, I'm sorry. Just give me a minute.
The new race thing is hard.
Well, because a hardy breed comes right after that. And it's not,
Yeah, even if I master the new race, I'm just gonna crack again a
yeah, and
hardy
they're
breed.
going to teach, and we'll teach them to love the world as we love it. So yeah, it's all sister-wife incest kind of crap going on here.
Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna read it a few times. We can go on living. We'll start a new race, a hardy breed, whom we'll teach to love the world as we love it. We can go on living. We'll start a new race, a hardy breed, whom we'll teach. Alright, I think I have it.
Okay.
Look, a new sun has been formed.
And we're in its orbit. We're saved. Saved!
A new sun to nourish our planet, to give us light and warmth.
We can go on living.
Do you notice that my character never once speaks about love? Like I got no time for love.
To be fair, that's maybe a negative quality there, but in a positive sense, you also don't talk about the new race.
Yeah, no.
So-
I don't. I got no time for
Swings
love.
and roundabouts.
I'm just like, hey, it's a brand new sun.
We can go on living. We'll start a new race. A hardy breed.
You can start a hardy breed.
We...
Dave's having trouble with the
Thanks.
hardy
Yeah.
breed.
Well, it is
Thanks,
it's a
Simon.
hardy breed.
I can start at hardy breed.
I just can't stop thinking of like the Habsburgs whenever he says hardy breed.
A hardy breed whom will teach to love the world as we love it. Oh, thank God.
I think we got it. I think
All
we
right.
got it. Okay.
One
Oh
take.
my God.
Earth.
So,
Oh.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun.
so is this a plot twist where we just didn't live in the cities that the previous
Yeah,
civilization
exactly.
built?
Until we did.
Yeah, because they're nature enthusiasts, so like they like destroyed everything.
I
Yeah.
guess.
And since this is a new beginning, let us give our world a new name. Fuck. I'm so glad this is almost over. I'm sorry, I'm
A
losing
new,
it
a new name for our
Yeah.
new race.
Mhm.
No, that's exactly. I was like Germany or something.
Germania.
Germania. Okay. Nah, I'm done. It's not
All
funny
right.
anymore. And since this is a new beginning, let us give our world a new name. Let us call it Earth.
Earth. I like the sound of it. That shall be the name, Eve.
Yes, Adam. From this moment on.
I love how much emphasis they put on the plot twist that you called panel 1. It's like, oh, so we're Adam and Eve in it?
Uh-huh.
They're like, oh yeah, it's Earth, get it? And you're Eve and Adam.
There
And
we
just
go.
like in the real biblical story of Adam and Eve, we skip over the necessity for incest.
Yep.
But they like just find people outside the garden, don't they?
Yeah, they pretty
Yeah.
much do.
That,
Well,
yeah, that is how it glossed over.
there are like 5 people. There's like Adam, Eve, like Cain, Seth, and Abel. And Cain kills one of them and he's like, oh, I'm worried that anyone I find out there will kill me. Motherfucker, there are 4 people on this planet, and you're the only murderer.
Yeah.
I don't think you have
we need
anything to
start
be
talking
worried
How
about.
the other people are gonna,
Yeah, but then they just find wives, don't they?
But yeah, they
Well,
just
yeah.
find.
There's, like,
Yeah.
there's no explanation
I
for
guess
where the wives
women
come
don't
from.
count as people.
No.
I guess
Well,
not.
because Cain does talk about how the other people are going to kill him, and you're like, what other people?
Yeah,
where
aren't
are these
you-
other people? I don't understand why you're talking about other people.
It's not even clear if Seth is begat yet.
Yeah.
There might only be the 3
No,
of you.
Seth is begat after Abel because
Yeah,
he replaces
Seth is
Abel.
begat. All right, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right, so there are 3 people, and you're the only
These
murderer.
other people are gonna, yeah.
And one of them's a woman, so she can't count.
Yeah, whatever.
No, they're not people.
Yeah.
Anyway, but well, apparently Eve named the Earth.
Yeah, apparently.
Ah.
Oh, here we go, guys.
Put her arms around the boy's shoulder. Suppose we play the game for the last time. Now, what do you want your father and me to wish for? That's up to you, said Tommy. $1 million, said his father. I wish that your mother and I owned $1 million. And you better bet wish to study the... What? And you better
This
bet
is a
wish...
1960s father, David. Study it. Become
Bet
it.
wish to study the stock market quotations every morning before breakfast. Oh, okay. All right.
I think it's a joke.
understand. I
Yeah.
think
I
I
think he's
understand the
being
sentence
funny.
now.
He's being silly.
Yeah. I wish that your mother and I owned $1 million. And you better bet wish to study the stock market quotations every morning before breakfast, or I'll cut off his supply of dog biscuits. Mrs. Miller laughed. Very well then, that's our wish. What about you, Tommy? That's a secret, said Tom, his eyes dancing merrily. I'll tell you someday, but I'd like to keep it as a surprise. He's gonna murder them in their sleep.
Yeah.
Axe murdering.
The days ahead were anxious ones for Tommy until his father finally drove Wish home from the quarantine station. He's a healthy dog, and it's perfectly legal for you to keep him, announced Mr. Miller. Tommy's parents watched the change in their young son with joy and wonder. For the first time since they had moved there, the children from down the street came over to play and invite Tom to join their games. Mrs. Miller restricted his activities at first, but the physical change in Tommy along with his new healthy appetite startled her. She took Tom for a checkup, and the doctor pronounced him to be completely normal and amazingly robust. If he didn't have these wild flights of imagination, everything would be perfect, said Mrs. Miller.
My
Gotta
child
stifle-
just
yeah.
has too much creativity.
You need
I
to
gotta
stifle
stifle it.
imagination. No imagination. God, no.
I think I finally realized what the plot twist is going to be, but Zach's going to be angry if I say it, so I'll just
Yeah,
keep
don't get
reading.
yelled at. That's me. You're no kinetic learner. You can't take the
Yeah, no, I'm not a
To be fair,
kinetic learner.
that was feigned
I learned
anger.
from the mistakes of others. Well, we can't expect too much, cautioned the doctor. He'll settle down in time. I guess so, she sighed. But just the other day, for example, I was cleaning out the workbench in the garage when I came across a small metal box. It was locked, but when I shook...
It rattled, and I thought it was marbles. But Tommy came along, and of all the things to say, he announced that he was saving the dog's baby teeth, which would produce a fortune in diamonds any day now. The doctor laughed heartily. Isn't it wonderful that a child's mind can accept the impossible? Now, after all, Mrs. Miller, his newfound health is a miracle. I don't see why you shouldn't be prepared to find a fistful of diamonds at that. I guess the doctor's just okay with it.
All right, fistful of diamonds.
I mean, I'm kind of going to spoil the ending too. I love that like his parents wished for a bunch of money, and Tommy had to wish for
Actually,
his own
yeah,
cure.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he thought his
Yeah, they
parents
didn't-
would maybe wish for his well-being, but no,
No.
they didn't. They wanted
No,
money
they
for
don't give a
themselves.
fuck about Tommy.
Tommy learned at a young age he has to take care of himself. Their amusement at the little joke was interrupted when Tom appeared in the doorway, dressed to go home. His full red cheeks and sparkling eyes gave him the appearance of a different boy. "You're right at that," said Mrs. Miller. "I wouldn't have believed that Tom could ever look this way in so short a time." When they returned home, Mrs. Miller realized that something was different. Usually, Wish darted out to greet them, but for some reason, he wasn't there, and they walked towards the house in silence. "That's funny," said Mrs. Miller finally. She was worried, but her greatest concern was for Tom and how he might react to finding Wish gone. "I won."
Where Wish is. But he'll be back, I guess, any minute now. "No, he won't," announced Tommy. "Don't look so downhearted, Mom. I told you that he wouldn't stay with us forever. He had to get going. You see, the wishes are all taken care of. I'll show you." Tommy ran off and returned quickly with the small metal box. He opened it for his mother to see, and a dazzling glitter of light made a crystal rainbow among the beautiful prisms of jewels. Then Mr. Miller walked into the room. "What's this?" he gasped. $1,000,000 worth, no less."
The diamond prospector, Mr. Miller.
He buys into
Miller.
it immediately, yeah.
Diamond expert Mr. Miller. "For you to keep," announced Tommy proudly. "You can't ever trade them in for cash, you know. Remember what you said? I wish that your mother and I owned $1,000,000. So now you do. But if you try to sell any part of it, you'll be out of luck. They'll turn into worthless stones. It's $1,000,000 to own, and that's all."
I love that this is like a monkey's paw at the
Yeah,
end.
I'm
Like, you didn't wish for me to get better, so I am cursing you.
Yeah, apparently. "And what did you wish for, Tom?" asked his father carefully. Tom grinned. "I wished for good health and friends and all the marvelous days I enjoy now. After being sick so long, it's the most wonderful feeling in the world to be well and strong again. Asshole father that didn't wish that for me."
I love that there is a karmic repercussions on the Miller family. I bet you guys didn't see that little plot twist coming.
Nah.
No, I didn't see the dog being a fucking monkey paw. I thought it was just like Tom's imagination.
No, it's actually a magic cursing device.
Good. Fantastic.
So was the dog real?
Yes.
So I thought the whole imagination thing was like he was imagining the dog.
No.
As real as this story is, David.
I know. It's like,
Maybe one day you'll come across a wishing
David's
dog.
like a child asking his dad in the bedroom, "Is it true, Daddy?" "Yes, son." You notice that I immediately answered yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
you were. I
David.
was like,
In the context
I'm like,
of the story, it is true.
You guys know that this is a story. There's not really a wishing dog, right?
Yeah, that is definitely what I meant.
Okay. All right.
You know, it's like I asked at the start: is the wishing dog, is that like a breed?
"You know something, Tom?" said his father, holding the sparkling jewels in his hand regretfully. "Your wish was worth more than $1,000,000. Suddenly, Mrs. Miller laughed. "I was just thinking," she explained, "that probably at this very moment that funny-looking dog is parked at someone's doorstep after rolling in a coal heap and getting himself all dirty again. I wonder who'll take him in this time. Wah, wah." The end.
G980.
Mr. Miller is having existential crisis at the end, and Mrs. Miller is just like high out of her mind on like the drugs they dope you up on for postpartum depression in the 60s.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, Gundar.
Gundar.
Here's our last one. Gundar.
Ooh, Steve Ditko did this one.
All right, so this is a Ditko.
All right. Gundar. Gundar.
Gundar. All right, we ready for this one?
I am ready.
Gundar. Take one lone man, shipwrecked on a strange isle. Add the legend of Gundar, and prepare for an adventure into suspense. At first, it seemed to be little more than a speck in a vast swirling sea. Then,
As it draws closer to the little isle, it begins to take shape. The shape of a battered lifeboat with one lone, weary occupant.
Up ahead, an island. I'm saved! Saved!
Much like Eve in the earlier
Exactly.
comic.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Got to find food, water, shelter. Weak. I'm so weak.
And then, suddenly,
Fear not, we shall aid you.
People? But who?
So you can tell who Uncolored Hair Viking is.
Yes, I
And
can
then
see.
Green Viking is.
I can see the uncolored hair.
later, after the castaway's strength has returned,
What's going on here? Are you shooting a costume movie or what?
we do not understand your words. We are Vikings.
We await the coming of Gundar. How are
They
we
should not
talking to you
understand
if we do not
English.
understand the words. We're talking to you in English. We're gonna help you.
We do not understand your words. We are
Yeah.
Vikings.
It's like, oh yeah, we don't understand movie. It's like, you shouldn't understand English, for fuck's
Yeah,
sake.
yeah.
I shall explain. Long ago, in the dim vanished past, my Vikings and I sailed out to sea with the fearsome Gundar. Gundar was the cruelest, most hated captain of all. It was worth a man's life to merely incur his displeasure.
You dare question my command? To the galley with them.
But Gundar, we meant no disrespect. We merely asked a question.
Enough talk. I am master of this vessel, and you are like the planks beneath my feet. Another word, and you will feel the might of my sword.
Like a madman, the enraged Gundar suddenly attacked his startled crew. We were forced to fight back, to defend ourselves.
Only Link can defeat Ganon. I don't need you. I don't need anybody, for I am Gundar.
They really liked the name Gundar.
So, I
Yeah.
just want to make a check here. Is anybody here in suspense?
yes.
I feel like I'm not in any suspense.
I'm suspended as fuck right now.
He fought like all the Fiories, even with his sword broken, with his strength waning. He fought on and on. His hatred was an awesome thing to behold. Finally, even his shattered sword hilt was gone. He could fight no more. But still he was defiant.
I put my curse upon you all. No matter what I have done to you, I am captain of this vessel, and you have dared to raise your swords to me. For that, I condemn you.
Gundar caused this entire
Yeah,
situation.
Gundar's really the
That's why
Yeah.
these guys are so confused. Like, what are you talking
I
about?
asked a question. Like, when are we gonna get there? Jesus,
Then you
dude.
started attacking me.
I just asked, are we there yet?
And you
Like, God, above. You're,
mean,
like,
you attacked us. We didn't harm you, and you beat us until
Yeah.
your sword broke.
and now you're cursing us. What?
And
what
now
the
you're
hell?
cursing us.
God.
It seemed to us that his reason had left him. As we watched, wordlessly, he lowered himself into a small boat.
This is the last any mortal eyes shall gaze upon the mighty Gundar. As for you, you be cast away on an unknown isle to spend eternity alone, far from your homes. Only I can lift this curse, but I shall never do it. Gundar will never set you free.
So he just sails away in a little bit. He exiles himself.
Getting farther and farther away.
And he's still yelling at him how much he hates
This,
him.
this is seriously the setup for a meme here. What is
Yeah.
this?
He's just floating off, still screaming. You're cursed. I hate you. I hate you. I hate
Fuck
you.
all. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And mighty Odin must have heard Gundar's words, for we were indeed shipwrecked on this nameless isle, where we are doomed to remain for the rest of time.
So Odin also a prick.
Odin's
Yes.
also a cunt, yeah.
And I love that Thor is already introduced as of this comic. So Odin is actually,
Okay.
Yeah, Odin's a
Odin-
character,
Thor's
yeah.
dad, right?
yeah,
Odin
as
is
in
there.
Thor's dad.
And
Yeah.
and
He
he's
exists.
just like, well, yeah, you
Yeah.
did. I mean, God damn you for,
You raised your
asking-
swords to Gundar
Well,
when he tried
no,
to attack
the
you?
real problem is you asked Arthur there yet.
you had,
Yeah, fuck
you
you.
dared to question Gundar?
You know?
Even when he explained that you were worms that he tread on under
Yeah.
his feet?
I mean,
Come
good
on.
Lord, why on earth are you taking... does he have Thor's hammer there in his
I
overhead?
guess.
Alas, we felt we had done nothing wrong, and yet.
According to the Viking code, the captain of a vessel is supreme. None may defy him for any cause.
He didn't even defy him, though. He just asked a question.
Yeah, I know what you said. We just asked a question.
You mean you have all been on this isle for centuries? Ever since you sailed with Gundar?
Aye, and here we will remain forever.
I think this is the same old man. I mean, look
Yeah,
at
I
this
think
art,
so.
how this art changes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
It's not the same fella at all. Wait, actually, wait, go back.
go back or my... Yeah, it could be.
I made it the golden cap guy swapped positions with them, maybe.
I don't know.
also their helmets change because they're pointed up here,
Yeah.
and then they're
Yeah.
pointed down here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now
I love how they keep saying, and they keep calling it an isle really unnaturally. I presume that's also like a text saving thing.
Probably, yeah.
For there is no way for the curse to be lifted until Gundar himself removes it. And that shall never be, for the tyrannical shipmaster has been gone for lo these many years.
But if he should return,
Ah, that would be a sign that merciful Odin has at last granted us forgiveness for asking a fucking question. Look at Lars!
I'll give you another lead in for that one.
Oh my god!
look at Lars.
I like the
Look at
angle.
Lars.
Look at
I
the
know.
angle his fingers
I
pointing
know.
down
My
at too.
goodness.
And look at this guy's eyes going
yeah.
down. They're all
So-
looking at his dick.
Lars is getting an erection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. At that moment, unexpectedly,
Look at Lars! What is happening to him?
This is the most convenient, like, supernatural thing ever for the artist, by the way.
absolutely,
It is happening to all of us.
we are fading away.
We are returning to the past, to our own world.
The curse has been lifted. We are going home.
I love how they describe this. No, you're ceasing to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting fucking Thanos right now.
Like,
Yeah.
They
it's
think
not,
it's a
you're
good
not
thing.
going back home.
Yeah.
Like, you've been living on this isle as ghosts for like hundreds of
Yeah.
years. You lived your life, your ghost life here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
You're fucking
ceasing
dying.
yeah, you're dying.
You don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. They're gone. They've returned to the past. So Gundar did lift the curse at last, even if fate herself had to help, as I undress,
Yeah.
by letting one of his descendants will the Vikings to return. Nice.
Gundar.
Oh, so Gundar. went right,
Gundar.
then his descendant came.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let me just see Kyle this boat here.
Yeah.
Now I know that nothing in this world happens without a reason, not even being shipwrecked on a lonely isle. The end.
And that is, in fact, the end of this comic and this episode.
That
of
wasn't
whatever this is.
suspenseful. I just
No,
none
it
of
wasn't. It
those.
wasn't particularly suspenseful. That's not how I would
don't know.
describe it.
I-
Yeah, I was suspended during the Iron Man story.
Yeah.
Well, only because you had transistors that could.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to know what the transistors would do next. I wanted to know if he could get out of that fucking filing cabinet.
Yeah. it's
So,
true.
Marvel Unlimited is a service that gives you access to all of their back catalog of comics. And I will put a link in the description.
Wow.
So, what do you guys think?
So what I learned is that Iron Man was created in a prisoner of war in Vietnam.
Mhm.
Not however it was in the movie, because he was in like.
It was pretty similar. Like, he got
they
captured
used
by,
like
like,
Afghanistan. I mean,
Afghanistan,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
For the mid 2000s, it's probably the best way, I guess, you would.
I feel like he MacGyvered his suit, right? That's just what he did.
He did, yeah.
He just sort of
Yeah.
MacGyvered it up. And,
Also, he was, like, evil before he became Iron Man. He was, like, an arms dealer and shit in the movies.
yeah.
Yeah, oh no, he's evil here. Well, he's not evil here. He's a heroic arms dealer
Yeah,
supplying
for-
munitions to the
to
South
America.
Vietnamese.
Yes. Yeah, from our modern lens, he is evil, but he's not presented as evil.
We're going to be front-loaded on the Iron Mans, because, like, Iron Man 2 is also in Phase 1. So we'll get to see more of Iron Man and the Defense Industrial Complex, which he supports. Pretty much every Iron Man comic is about him trying to defend his arms plant, where he manufactures, because communists are constantly trying to destroy it, but he needs to produce weapons for the U.S. military.
To kill
The brave Arvin soldiers.
So,
oh, he's starting to look like the one that we know. Later on, he's red and gold.
Yeah, he starts to improve. It's kind of ironic that I'm starting this to try and get people more interested in comics, and we're immediately showcasing what I think is kind of one of the worst. But it's, to be fair, it's one of the worst in like a Plan 9 from outer space, so bad it's good kind of way, I think.
Oh yeah, I had fun. It was interesting to see how little they actually changed for the movie in his origin story.
Honestly,
it's actually the same.
Yeah, well, they changed some things. The filing cabinet did not make it.
Yeah, there was no filing cabinet filled with rocks that pretty much took him out.
Considering that obviously you're not going to have an absurdly racist Chinese stereotype in the Vietnam jungle throwing filing cabinets on someone in a movie in the 2000s.
Yeah, no.
But considering, I think, what the kind of movie that they were making, I think actually Iron Man 1 is a pretty faithful adaptation. The first act or so is pretty much, the comic.
Yeah, definitely.
Should we do a teaser for the next episode?
Sure.
Do you guys know what the second movie in Phase 1 of Marvel was?
Is it not Captain America?
No, it is The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, the Hulkster.
Oh, Hulk.
Oh.
The one everyone forgets.
Dr. Bannon.
Wait, Hulk came after Iron Man?
Yeah, I think what you're confused about is that the third movie in our series is going to be Iron Man 2. Mm-hmm. So, Iron Man got a lot early on.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell that Iron Man and Incredible Hulk were not really MCU movies. They were just Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And later on, they had an idea. So next time, we will actually be reading The Incredible Hulk, issue 1. He gets his own comic to start out with.
Yeah, I remember when the first Avengers came out, yeah?
Yeah.
And it had Hulk in it, and I was like, it was like a million years since I've seen the fucking Hulk movie. And I assumed it was like a new character, and like that old Hulk movie from a million years ago was like the old Spider-Man from the Sony.
There was also
it wasn't
a 2004 Hulk movie too. There have been 2 Hulk movies.
So okay, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think you probably just didn't see the MCU Hulk movie.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't know there was an MCU Hulk movie.
Yeah, it slips in there between the 2 Iron Men. I don't think it was nearly as successful as Iron Man was.
MCU Hulk, I'm Googling this.
Because, like, Hulk has never got another movie again, I don't think, right? Has he? Yeah, he's in the Avengers and stuff.
I thought he got a new movie.
He was in
eventually.
Thor.
I know She-Hulk came out like last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
And he pops up in everybody.
He pops up in other people's, but he hasn't really gotten to headline anything too much. Not like Thor. Like, Thor gets a billion movies. Yeah. Because he's hot.
Okay. Alright. Yeah. Hulk, the 2003 movie, is the one I'm thinking of. I had no idea there was also the Incredible Hulk that came out in 2008. I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah. Hey, so thanks for watching the video. Please let us know what you think. And this is a plug for my writing on Wattpad. I just finished uploading my first short story, The Little Death. It's a dark fantasy story about a monster hunter named Vero and her friend Dora who hunt down vampires. And there's plenty of sex and violence, and if you liked this, then maybe you'll like that too. So I'll put a link down in the description, and check it out, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.